The trailer for episode 10 doesn't waste time, it pulls us straight into the storm. The first shots are not quiet or subtle. They're drenched in tension, shadow, and the heavy weight of inevitability. A voice cuts through the darkness. It isn't just dialogue, it's a declaration of war. Praetor killed Batista, and I'm next. In that one line, the entire stage is set. We know immediately that this finale is not about survival, it's about the price of survival. And Dexter Morgan, the man who has danced with death his entire life, is finally cornered. To understand the power of this trailer, we need to step back and look at what has already happened. Episode 9 ended with a brutal shock. The death of Angel Batista, one of the few figures from Dexter's past who always represented morality, justice, and humanity. Batista's murder is not just another body on Dexter's conscience, it's a symbol. It's proof that the world Dexter has created, the code he's lived by, is crumbling. For years, Dexter believed he could control the darkness. He believed he could kill by a set of rules, keep the monster in a cage, and protect the people he loved. But now, that illusion is gone. With Batista dead, the ripple effect is massive. Harrison sees it, Praetor exploits it, and Dexter, he's forced to confront the truth. Every decision he made has led to this collapse. The trailer magnifies that collapse. We see Leon Praetor, not hiding in the shadows but stepping into the light. He's not just another villain in Dexter's story. He's something bigger, something far more dangerous. Praetor is the embodiment of chaos, the reflection of what Dexter could have become if he ever abandoned his code. And the terrifying part, Praetor doesn't just kill, he inspires. He stands before others as a dark messiah, presenting murder, not as a compulsion to be hidden but as a philosophy to be embraced. When he steps onto that stage, when he calls for the world to see him, it's clear, this finale is not about one man stopping another. It's about an idea clashing with another idea. The code versus the chaos. Dexter versus Praetor. But what makes this trailer so haunting isn't just the villain, it's the family conflict at its core. Dexter and Harrison, father and son. The trailer shows us brief, jagged glimpses of their relationship on the edge of destruction. The looks they exchange are heavy, sharp, and filled with pain. Harrison, who has spent the entire season struggling with his father's legacy, now stands at a crossroads. Does he step fully into Dexter's world and embrace the darkness inside him? Or does he walk away, leaving his father to face the consequences alone? The trailer doesn't give us the answer, but it makes the stakes clear. Harrison is not just another character. He is the future. And whether he saves Dexter or condemns him will define the end of this story. And then there is Charley. Her presence in the trailer is brief but vital. She whispers warnings, she shows hesitation, and in every frame, she looks like someone caught between loyalty and doubt. Throughout the season, Charley has stood at Praetor's side, but now her loyalty is tested. The trailer teases us with her inner conflict. Will she stay with Praetor, or will she betray him at the final moment? Her choice could tilt the entire balance of the finale. She might be the unexpected hand that decides whether Dexter falls or rises. Everything in this trailer builds toward one promise: the end of Dexter Morgan. And it's not just about death. The phrase carries weight. It means the end of a man who lived in shadows, the end of the illusion that he could balance his monstrous urges with his human desires, and possibly the end of the code itself. This finale is designed as a reckoning not just for Dexter, but for everyone tied to him. Batista, Harrison, Deborah's memory, Rita's ghost, and all the blood on his hands, they are all present in spirit. They haunt the edges of every scene, reminding us that Dexter has never truly escaped them. And in episode 10, he won't be able to. The setup the trailer gives us is clear. A battle of philosophies, a test of family bonds, and the ultimate question of whether Dexter Morgan dies as a man, a monster, or a legend. That's the story waiting to unfold. The trailer opens like a wound raw, loud, impossible to ignore. Every frame feels like a confession, a final letter written in blood. This is not a teaser designed to hide. It is a promise of destruction. And at the center of it all is Leon Praetor. We see him not as a shadowy figure lurking in the corners, but as a man stepping proudly into the spotlight. His words are chilling. Time for the world to see the real Leon Praetor. In that moment, we realize the finale is not just about Dexter's sins catching up to him, it's about a new monster, declaring himself to the world. Unlike Dexter, who spent his life hiding under masks, Praetor wants visibility. He thrives on it. He wants his chaos to be witnessed, remembered, and followed. The trailer shows him almost like a cult leader, standing tall, while others gather around. This isn't just another villain Dexter has to kill, this is an ideology Dexter has to face. Then comes the gut punch. Praetor killed Batista. The line echoes like a gunshot. Batista's death is not just personal to Dexter, it's symbolic to the entire series. Batista represented the law, the conscience, the grounding force that Dexter could never completely silence. Now, with Batista gone, the scales of justice have been tipped into madness. The trailer lingers on Dexter's face, haunted, broken, but also burning with rage. For once, the mask slips, and we see a man who knows he has lost more than just a friend. He has lost the last tether to his humanity. The trailer cuts rapidly, showing flashes of confrontation. Dexter standing in darkness, Harrison in the distance, Praetor watching from above like a predator. The editing style itself feels like a heartbeat racing, pushing the viewer toward collapse. And then the most telling image of all, Dexter and Harrison staring each other down. No words, just silence, and a weight that speaks louder than any dialogue could. It's father versus son, not in the sense of fists and knives, but in the sense of choices. Harrison has seen the blood, he has tasted the truth, and now he must decide, does he follow the path his father carved, or does he destroy it forever? This tension is the beating heart of the trailer, because Dexter's story has never been about whether he can kill. It's about whether he can live with who he is. And in Harrison, he sees both his reflection and his potential salvation. But here's the cruel irony. Saving Harrison may mean sacrificing himself. The trailer never says it outright, but the imagery is clear. Every shot of Dexter looks like a man carrying a coffin on his back, his own coffin. Then we see Charley. Her presence is fleeting, but her impact is massive. The trailer shows her in close-up, eyes shifting, voice soft but uncertain. She says, "You're not going anywhere." The words are sharp, but the delivery is hesitant. For the first time, her loyalty to Praetor is cracking. And in a finale built on betrayal, her choice could decide who walks out alive. Will she betray Praetor to save herself? Will she side with Dexter at the last moment? Or will she strike her own path, becoming something even darker than both men? The trailer doesn't answer, but it gives us just enough to know she will matter. And let's talk about the atmosphere. Every sound, every shot, is layered with doom. The trailer uses silence as a weapon, cutting sound entirely before slamming the viewer with sudden noise, footsteps, whispers, the metallic scrape of a blade. It doesn't just tell you that the end is near, it makes you feel it in your bones. Even the colors shift, deep reds, harsh blacks, flashes of white light, almost like a funeral procession wrapped in violence. The visual language is screaming. Death is inevitable. The breakdown is simple, yet devastating. Praetor ascends, Batista falls, Harrison questions, Dexter unravels, and Charley wavers. That is the skeleton of the finale, hidden in the skin of this trailer. Each piece is not just part of the plot, it's a reflection of Dexter's entire journey. For years, he hunted monsters. In the finale, the monster he has to face isn't just Praetor, and it isn't just himself, it's the possibility that Harrison will inherit his darkness. That is the horror, and that is the promise of episode 10. The trailer doesn't try to answer the big question. It doesn't tell us whether Dexter dies, whether Harrison saves him, or whether Praetor reigns. Instead, it pushes us to the edge of a cliff and whispers, "Jump." And that's what makes it so powerful. Because as viewers, we're not just watching Dexter's ending. We're bracing ourselves to feel it. Every trailer tells a story, but this one speaks in symbols. It doesn't just show blood and violence, it hides meaning in the silence, in the glances, and in the choices characters are about to make. To understand episode 10, we have to read between the lines. The first theme that stands out is justice versus vengeance. For years, Dexter believed his code was a form of justice. Kill only those who deserve it. Protect the innocent by eliminating the guilty. It was his twisted way of playing God while convincing himself he was doing good. But the trailer rips that illusion apart. With Batista dead, justice no longer exists in this world, only vengeance. Dexter's mission in the finale is not to restore balance but to strike back at Praetor. And here's the bitter truth. When a man built on rules abandons them, he becomes no different from the monsters he swore to destroy. The trailer makes that painfully clear. This isn't about the code anymore, it's about revenge. And revenge has no boundaries. The second theme is the collapse of the code. The trailer shows Dexter alone, haunted, staring into the shadows like a man stripped of his purpose. For years, the code was his anchor. It gave him discipline, control, and the illusion of morality. But now, in this finale, the code is shattered. Every glimpse we get of Dexter feels heavier, more reckless, as if he no longer believes in the very thing that defined him. The silence in his scenes isn't calm, it's emptiness. The message is simple. Without the code, Dexter is just another killer. And perhaps that is the most terrifying truth of all. The third theme is the father-son legacy. This is the most emotional layer of the trailer, and the one that hurts the most. Harrison has been searching for answers, for belonging, for a way to understand the darkness inside him. Dexter has tried to guide him, but guiding someone through a storm while drowning yourself never works. The trailer's most powerful shots are the ones where Dexter and Harrison face each other. No words, just eyes. The silence screams louder than any monologue could. This is not just a family argument, this is the passing of a curse. The real question isn't whether Dexter will die. It's whether his darkness will die with him, or whether Harrison will inherit it. The trailer forces us to look at Harrison not as a boy, but as the future. And that future may be darker than Dexter ever imagined. The fourth theme is loyalty and betrayal. Charley embodies this perfectly. In the trailer, she hovers between Praetor and Dexter, caught in the middle of chaos. Her hesitation, her silence, her subtle shifts in expression, all of it suggests betrayal is near. The theme of loyalty has always been central to Dexter's story. People around him either protect him blindly, like Deborah once did, or betray him when the truth becomes unbearable. Charley now holds that same power. The question is, who will she betray? Praetor, the man she has followed into the abyss? Or Dexter, the man she may see as a necessary evil to stop something worse? Her decision may tilt the story's balance. And then there's the theme of identity unmasked. Praetor stands as Dexter's opposite. Dexter has spent his life hiding, wearing masks, pretending to be a normal man. Praetor does the opposite. He rips the mask off and dares the world to look. He is the monster who does not hide, the killer who wants to be celebrated. In this way, he isn't just a villain, he's Dexter's reflection turned inside out. The trailer places them on a collision course, not because one is good and the other is evil, but because they are two sides of the same darkness. The message is clear. The world cannot hold both. One must fall. Even the imagery of the trailer carries meaning. Red light bleeding into black shadows. White flashes like moments of judgment. The camera lingering on Harrison's conflicted eyes, suggesting innocence slipping away. Every frame feels like a funeral wrapped in symbolism. The funeral of Dexter Morgan, not just his body, but the myth he created. So, what does it all mean? The trailer isn't promising a victory. It isn't promising closure. What it promises is truth. The truth that monsters cannot live forever in the shadows. The truth that family ties can be as suffocating as they are saving. And the truth that even legends fall, not with a bang, but with silence, regret, and the weight of everything left undone. Episode 10 will not just be an ending, it will be a mirror held up to Dexter, to Harrison, to Praetor, and to us as the audience. And in that mirror, we will finally see the truth that Dexter has been running from since the beginning. You can't escape who you really are. The trailer leaves us on a knife's edge, not just because of what it shows, but because of what it refuses to reveal. Every cut, every shadow, every silence feels like it's holding back a final secret. This is the moment fans have been waiting for, the end of Dexter Morgan's journey. But what does that really mean? Let's break it down. The most pressing question is simple. Will Dexter Morgan survive the finale? For years, Dexter has lived by avoiding consequences. He slipped through the cracks of justice, outsmarted the police, manipulated evidence, and hid his darkest truths. But this finale doesn't feel like another escape act. It feels like a corner with no way out. The way the trailer frames him hunted, isolated, stripped of his code suggests that survival is no longer the point. The point is judgment. The endgame may not be about whether Dexter can win, but about whether he can finally face himself. If he dies, it will not be just another character death, it will be the death of the myth of the dark passenger. But what if the finale flips expectations? One possible path is sacrifice. Imagine Dexter choosing to die, not because Praetor defeats him, but because Harrison needs freedom. A father giving his son a chance at a different life, free from the shadows that haunted his own. The trailer's imagery of father and son facing each other could be read as conflict, or it could be read as farewell. A silent goodbye, where Dexter realizes the only way to save Harrison is to remove himself from the equation. In this version of the endgame, Dexter does not die as a monster. He dies as a father, and then there's Harrison himself. The finale may not just be about the end of Dexter, it may be about the beginning of Harrison. The trailer hints at his inner conflict, his pull toward violence, his temptation to embrace the darkness he inherited. If Dexter falls, Harrison could stand at the crossroads. Does he carry the code forward, becoming a mirror of his father, or does he burn it all down and carve a new path? The endgame may hinge on this one decision, because if Harrison chooses the darkness, the end of Dexter is not an ending at all, it's the birth of a new monster. Meanwhile, Leon Praetor looms like a storm that refuses to pass. His presence in the trailer is bold, theatrical, almost unstoppable. If Dexter is the monster who hides, Praetor is the monster who conquers. And here's the haunting prediction. What if Praetor survives? A finale where Dexter dies but Praetor lives sets the stage for an even darker future. It means the world loses the man who hunted monsters and gains one who glorifies them. It would not just end Dexter's story, but ensure that his death leaves the world more dangerous than before. That possibility makes the stakes even higher, because sometimes the end isn't justice, it's chaos. Then there's Charley, the wild card. Trailers love to mislead, but her hesitation, her fractured loyalty, feels too important to be a red herring. My prediction? Charley's betrayal will be the turning point of the finale. If she abandons Praetor, Dexter may have one final ally in his last stand. But if she turns on Dexter instead, then his fate is sealed. Her role is less about morality and more about survival. And survival often demands betrayal. The final question is whether the show will give us closure or a cliffhanger. The title of the trailer, Break Down the End of Dexter Morgan, suggests closure, a definitive conclusion to the story. But the glimpses of Harrison, the rise of Praetor, and the heavy focus on legacy point towards something bigger. This could be the end of Dexter. Yes, but the beginning of a continuation. A world where Harrison takes the stage, where Praetor still breathes, where the code is rewritten in blood. The show may be ending one chapter while daring us to imagine the next. What makes this finale unique is that it's not just about whether Dexter lives or dies. It's about what survives after him. His son, his code, his enemies, his legacy. The trailer is a puzzle where every piece points to the same conclusion. Dexter Morgan cannot escape the reckoning. But whether he dies as a man, a monster, or a martyr, that is the question episode 10 will answer. And so, we wait. The final hour approaches. The trailer has set the table with blood, betrayal, and impossible choices. Dexter has run for years, but there are no more shadows left to hide in. When the credits roll on episode 10, one truth will remain. Every monster's story has an ending. And for Dexter Morgan, that ending is now.